Having a girlfriend is a bad idea, and here's 10 reasons. This may sound like incel theory, but I myself would not want any premarital intimacy with a woman, even if she wanted it. And number one, because this whole girlfriend idea is a rejection of the feminine. Because by default, women take lead and authority over in relationships unless it's initially established and the woman wants the guy to lead. If she likes him and wants to be his number one fan. So that's number one. It's a rejection of femininity. Number two, it means you're not ready for marriage. You're not prepared for a wife, so you're only picking a girlfriend, and it means that you do not want to be a husband and you do not want a wife. Number three, all these terms are ambiguous and they lead to mixed results. Statistically, all this cohabitation leads to failure. And all these terms are red flags, not only girlfriend and boyfriend, but saying you're together, saying you're dating, saying you're with someone, say they're a significant other, a partner, even a fiance. All of it suggests premarital intimacy, and that's more important than number three, which is your love for yourself. If you're married and committed to your values and the lifestyle you want, then you wouldn't want a girlfriend, because that would suggest that you're not wanting to commit to life, and it means to somebody, and that means you're not committed to yourself and something, because you would only want to be with somebody who had the same values and lifestyle and said, hey, let's do this together. And it's not making women submissive. It's celebrating the feminine, allowing the woman to be her feminine, which requires both the man and the woman to have similar ideas, and not the man dominate the woman, but she let him make the final decisions on things and look out for her so she can be in her feminine. And so even if she makes like more money, then she allows him to make the financial decisions, the final decision on things. So number four is it makes it hard to discern who your wife is going to be or who to pick. Because if you have a girlfriend or any variation of these intimate connections, then you can't think clearly because you're becoming attached. And guys might say, oh, I'm not going to get attached, or I don't care. Well, why would you be spending your time, and this leads me to number five, is when you're spending all your time and money and your intimate passion, why would you spend that on somebody that you wouldn't want to get attached to? Like women are an energetic vacuum, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it makes men feel a sense of purpose. Like, hey, am eager to work extra, and that way I can, give it to my whatever extra time and money we have, give it to my woman to celebrate her. Like, kind of like, think of it like you're the man, and just because she could potentially buy her own things or vacations or lifestyle, it's not special. It's not a real gift unless it's the husband doing all these special things for her. That's the fun energy of it. And number six is that it's a failure as a man to give your money to, you're basically saying you're giving a money to someone who's not your wife, and you're neglecting her, and you're not worried about her. Like, you're not living for your future spouse. And then you might say, well, this woman's special. We're girlfriend and boyfriend because we can't afford a marriage yet, or because we're just figuring each other out, or wanting to make sure, or because it's like it's a best option, like we do so much for each other. But a lot of people can do a lot of things for each other, not limited to, but including be attracted to each other, enjoy each other's personalities, and then combine their incomes to live a better life. But a lot of people are not people you would want to marry. Like, they're very specific things that make it define a marriage. And like I said, if you're entangling yourself with someone, it's hard to think clearly. And you can't think, oh, would I want to be with this person even if they were in a wheelchair? Or would I want to, if is it my favorite choice? And here's another point, because you want your wife to be point number 7, you want your wife to be your first choice. So as a man, or as a woman who's like the masculine and wants to marry a woman, we have to build our life so that we're strong. We have to be also physically stronger in order to protect the woman that we're with, and mentally strategic and financially strategic, so that we can provide a safe place for a woman, the feminine woman, to thrive. And number 8 is, when you're in public together and you're, boyfriend and girlfriend doing stuff, it's actually awkward because people know that you're not married. So there's kind of a hint of, well, does the guy maybe want this other woman, or does the woman trying to dress attractive so that maybe she can potentially, see if somebody else she would rather have to be a husband. So it's like a non-choosing. It's like an ambiguity that you exist in, and that affects your whole life, because how you operate in some of your life affects your other life. And if you're engaging in this lukewarm approach to, well, we'll see what happens, then that's how your life's going to be. Now, number 8. Women, okay. Oh, like I said, women, if they're not wanting a man to look out for them, then what happens to these type of women is they end up being the masculine, and they end up choosing men who are more feminine as a consequence. And these men are men who are rejecting their masculine, and they're basically allowing the woman to make the decisions and be, like the breadwinner, give them security. And then these men are often like these goofy, more like creative types. Not that it's bad to be creative, but you should be able to convert that as a man to earn an income to protect your wife, who might also, be in her so she can, that she's a creative as well. Like it's like, that's what, a man wants a woman to take his last name, not because he wants to dominate her, but because he wants to be proud of that this is my wife and that she chose me. Yeah, and so number 9 is that if you're together with somebody and then you end up making friends with each other, and you go to the same restaurants or do the same activities or gym or church or whatever it might be, the problem is if and when you break up, then it's not only heartbreak, but it's like you're having to break up with other friends, or stop going to the favorite place you liked, or maybe even stop listening to certain music or eating food or clothing because that reminds you of that person. So it's like you have all these memories. It's also memories. It's not. And then number 10 is, you've heard it before, but it's that you don't want to have physical comparisons to other people, their physical bodies, and you don't want to have other people comparing each other, because then we live in this weird competitive society where people aren't happy. They can't trust each other because everyone's trying to seduce each other, and people are seducing each other's future husbands and wives, all under the premise of, oh, we get to be free and do whatever we want, and that women can do whatever they want. And the reality is women don't choose that well when they're not thinking like this and not looking out for, looking for her father to protect them. And just the same, men don't choose as well either. It's just as much a masculine thing that men should want to be pure and have no premarital intimacy and have no previous intimate partners, just like women. And then what that does is it creates a society where we can trust each other. So if that's what you want, and that's something worth living for, just like woman's flower is worth living for. And this is a bonus number 11, where the flower, guys, you hear guys say all the time, the P word. They say, oh, they love the flower, but the truth is, when they say that, they're really suggesting that they like getting off, like using the, during with conventional, quote unquote, intimacy acts. But really, if they really like the flower, they'd like the external flower. And that's what I think is going to give us peace in this world, is a celebration of that and the external woman's flower, and giving, obviously, the men eating the flower, and the man realizing that that's the most important act that he can do, more than him trying to receive things, because it's him being the masculine giver and him like celebrating and complimenting her flower rather than hoping for her to do the same for him. Although she's gonna do that, but it's that the flower is what we're oriented around, and that it's it's kind of like work. It's like a lot of guys feel part at the start of the workday we feel, I gotta go to work, but that's what gives us meaning and purpose and a sense of accomplishment, and so that's the same with flower. Like, you feel like you're doing something important and it feels special, even though it's not the same as other forms of intimate acts, which are more about the guy getting off. Well, there you go. That's why it's time to realize that it's not worth having a girlfriend. Thank you, guys.